93.3 KZOZ FM San Luis Obispo. The home of Jeff and Jeremy in the morning.
They have no chemistry at all.
It's the KZOZ $1,000 playlist. We're going to give away $100 today, $1,000 I think next week. Submit your songs. If you have submitted your songs, make sure you listen for all three of them.
Jeremy, do you know what the gold standard in landscape gravel is?
The gold standard?
Mm-hmm.
Crushed, decomposed granite.
Oh, you're close. You're close. You're very close. It's California gold.
What's that? Is that
It's
limestone?
like little pebbles like this. I'm talking about landscape rock. There's for like pathways and stuff. It's definitely decomposed granite.
Is it? Are you talking like drainage rock? Like drain rock?
Kind of like drainage, but it's more for aesthetics is what we're talking about here. And right now it's available at Peterson U-Cart in various sizes. So whatever size you want, you go to Peterson U-Cart and tell them, okay, that's going to look good in my yard. They'll load you up with a cart and send you on your way. But you mentioned the decomposed granite just a second ago.
Yeah, that's pretty fancy stuff.
Today, it took place on Saturday because it was the first day of May. Their May special right now, decomposed granite and 3/4 rock is 10% off in the month of May.
Will they tell me how to put it down and pack it and get it to work for me?
Well, if you live in Atascadero, good news is you could choose for free delivery, and I'm sure those guys would say, okay, just go ahead and do this because they're very helpful at Peterson.
Because it's not like you just dump it on the ground and it's there. You can tell it's pressed in.
Yeah. You have to.
There's a process.
You get that thing. You know what I'm talking about?
The stamper.
The stamper. Yes. Thank you. Thank you for being able to read my bad sign language. You can find out more at PetersonCart.com.
How pathetic can some people be?
So I was at the convenience store the other day, and I'm in line, and there's these two guys in front of me, and they're arguing over the last bag of Cheetos. They're kind of like white trash guys. And the one guy turns to the other guy, and he says, "Hey, man, I'll karate fight your ass." That's what he said. He said he was going to karate fight his ass. I don't know karate, but I'm pretty sure if you call it karate fighting, neither do you. Clearly, the Japanese have to be very disappointed. This is how things turned out with the martial arts. It about honor. It about self-defense. No, it not, sensei. It about orange, crunchy, cheesy snacks. And I've noticed in this country, there's like a lot of white trash kids trying to learn to fight like the Asian culture. I just wonder if over in Japan, there's a bunch of Asian kids trying to learn to fight like American white trash. Before fight, take shirt off and walk around. Pound the chest. Talk trash. Secretly hope someone show up and break up fight before it occurs. If you win fight, stand over opponent, say, "I told you you not want none of this." Go home. Don't pay child support. Collect workman comp. These are the ways of the white trash warrior.
Last of the day. 93.3 KZOZ.
Sometimes the funniest things are the true things.
Police arrested a man accused of chasing a FedEx driver with a bow and arrow. Investigators in Jamaica, Queens posted a picture of the weapon. Sources say 22-year-old Alexander Carrion asked the driver why he was talking to his girlfriend. The FedEx driver ignored him. Moments later, the driver says he saw Carrion allegedly running toward him with the bow and arrow. The driver took off and called 911. Carrion was arrested near his home.
She forgot the part where he took off his shirt, threw it on the ground. Here you are delivering packages and some crazy son of a bitch, and you're in New York City, comes up with a bow and arrow.
Yeah.
And starts chasing you around.
And it's New York City. I
think I feel more comfortable running from a guy with a bow and arrow than a gun.
Yeah. Because, I don't know, the most skilled archists, is that what they're called?
I don't know, though.
Archery guys?
I mean, anybody could grab a gun and chase you with it, and they may not really be that great at aiming.
But it's
bow and arrow guy, you would think has some practice.
Running and shooting a gun, though, is probably a hell of a lot more effective than running. And how can you stay with a steady arm in mid-gait as you're chasing a vehicle with a bow and arrow and be accurate? You can't run and shoot a bow and arrow at the same time, right?
Well, they got these. I'm looking at a picture of it, and they're fancier now because you pull it back and it locks, and then you have a trigger that you pull, and then it'll release the arrow. So you have a little bit more control, but yes,
still,
at the same time,
I'm thinking
you're bouncing
running
around, and the damn arrow's going to go pew, pew.
We should have a We should have a target practice someday. Maybe the archery place over there on Los Osos Valley Road can hook us up, and we take turns running at targets and shooting a bow and arrow and see.
Ooh, that would be fun.
See how accurate we could be.
As long as we didn't trip, and that would end up being a very bad day.
But you have to have something to chase while you're doing it, right? I've always
you can run and I'll shoot at you.
I've always respected
if I don't hit you, then you have a shot.
The bow and arrow guy, because I think it takes great skill, because it takes a while for the bow to get there, right? I mean, it's not like a gun. You shoot it and it's instantaneously, hitting its target. The bow, it's even if you have one of these fancy things, it takes a while to get there. So, like, if you're going to shoot like a bunny or something like that with a bow, you have to basically, like a quarterback in the NFL, you have to anticipate the receiver getting to the spot where you think it's going to get. The bunny doesn't have a playbook. The bunny you think it's going left the entire time, but
Darts right.
It could dart right or
back at you
90 degrees.
He got upset. His name's Alexander. He's 22 because the FedEx driver was talking to his girlfriend. The FedEx driver eventually said it was because, I was talking to her about the package. What kind of crazy SOB are you with, lady?
What kind of package?
Fucking loose cannon boyfriend.
Nailed it.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Alexander. You are Jeff and Jeremy's
Dumbass of the Day. 93.3 KZOZ.
Don't be a dummy when it comes to your landscape supplies. Go to Peterson U-Cart on Augusta Road, just north of Quickie Car Wash in Atascadero.
We love U-Cart. You save.
Well, if you plan on taking a road trip this summer, you might want to reconsider your plans due to this gas shortage that we're facing. While there remains plenty of gas to go around, the issue is a lack of drivers to actually get the fuel from the refinery to the service stations. We're having a trucker shortage at this point. Truck driver shortage already exceeds 50,000 drivers. They're 50,000 drivers short? Is that what you're trying to say?
Wait, so the shortage is not on gas, it's on actually the labor force to get the gas delivered to the areas where it needs to be delivered?
According to this story, yes. I mean, this is a big portion of the problem. The executive director at the NTTC, which he told them that the industry's been dealing with a driver shortage for a while. And the issue has grown exponentially during the COVID pandemic. It's funny because my neighbor's a truck driver. He was a long-haul truck driver, which is not the same thing as usually
okay.
What people that deliver gas. My grandfather, when I delivered gas for Flying J, and they're usually a pretty regional group, right? I mean, because you're just going to a local refinery, you're filling up the gas tanks at the truck, you're taking it to gas stations around the area. But he pretty much, it's funny because I thought they would be moving more stuff, but he had his schedule cut, so then he ended up retiring early. And I think a lot of people have done that due to the pandemic.
Okay, this is where I don't think that's the reasoning behind it. I truly believe that the reasoning behind it, and nobody talks about it because it's not in the it's not the reasoning that people want to hear. And we have just full on, we as a society have shunned working. We have not wanted to get a job because you can't tell me that there is any pandemic risk whatsoever or minuscule pandemic risk whatsoever to driving a truck by yourself.
Right. Taking it to somewhere, unloading the gas by yourself. Right. Loading the gas by yourself. Yeah, no, this is basically, my grandfather did this. I spent a lot of trips with him as a kid, and he was by himself.
Everybody I've talked to that has started to reopen their restaurants, they can't find the workforce. They just can't find the workforce. Nobody wants to come in and work, and that's because our government has just been forking over money, hand and fist. Why go to work when you have money? If you have money, don't go to work. And it is really, it's strange because it's all called a stimulus, and you're supposed to pump it back into the economy, and then people have money, they're going to spend money, and I understand that side of it. But then also, if people have money, they don't want to work. If you give them too much money, they're not going to want to work because they just live off the money that you gave them. So then there's nobody there to process those transactions.
But I got to imagine this writes itself because, this is not going to continue.
Right.
People are going to have to go back to work, and we're now making strides. And according to CNN, they said, according to the NTTC, that there were 20 to 25% of tank trucks that haul gas sitting right now, idle in parking lots that nobody's driving. 25%
so
shortage.
It's not the gas shortage. It's the
I've
labor
heard
force.
that it's because more people are driving now because they're vaccinated and they're feeling like getting out. And I realize that's part of it. But there's also, what about the fact that we don't produce our own gas anymore? We have to buy it.
I think that's been going on for a long time. And I know that a lot of people say, well, we shut down.
No, the current administration shut down the pipeline.
Yeah,
right
I know,
away.
but how much gas were we getting from the Keystone Pipeline? I mean, it was probably
I think a lot.
It probably paled in comparison to where we get our gas, and that's the Middle East. I mean, we just don't have that many oil reserves here in the
I don't
United
have an
States.
answer for you, and I don't want to guess. But I'm just saying there's a correlation there.
It definitely doesn't help.
But they're also saying there's other variables here.
It also drives the narrative of the domestic oil manufacturers as well that I've been talking about with the chicken people and the pig people, and that is you give them an excuse to raise prices, and they're going to raise prices. So when they shut down the Keystone Pipeline, whether or not we get a lot of our oil from the Keystone Pipeline, which I believe it's a small percentage because we just don't have that much oil in the United States. Then they're going to use that, though, as a narrative, be like, oh, well, you shut us down. Now domestic oil the prices are going to go up because it's a convenient excuse to make more money.
So anyways, if you're looking for a job, 20 to 25% of truck drivers that haul gasoline, those trucks are just sitting there.
I always thought it would be an awesome job. Like if I didn't have a family, this is what I would do. I would be a long-haul truck driver.
Well, these aren't long-haul. These are regional. But
okay.
Or you can be a long-haul, too, I guess.
Either or. I mean,
just see the country.
Just be a truck driver, see the country.
Living in truck stops.
Get a nice little bed in the back of your driver's seat. That's cool, man. With a TV.
I think it would probably get old pretty fast, but you never know.
I'm down.
Maybe that would be really cool to do.
Nothing but Popeye's chicken or something I've never tried, but I've seen it at many.
Have you seen some of the cabs of these trucks? They're really nice.
At many truck stops. Try Chester's chicken for the first time because I don't know what Chester's chicken is, except for I see it at every truck stop.
I've never seen it. Now I'm very curious.
Chester chicken.
So there you go. If you're looking for a job, go drive a truck.
Whoa! Jeff and Jeremy in the morning.
Jeff and Jeremy here with your home for the $1,000 playlist. You can win $100 today. KZOZ.com to enter your songs. Oh, I heard about this. You talking about the tour?
Yeah.
The reunion
But
tour?
as I sit here and I listen to the lyrics of Land of Confusion, I'm like thinking, man, they were only about 30 years too early in releasing Land of Confusion.
It fits today, doesn't it?
Good God. Yeah.
No West Coast dates right now, though.
I can see
looked
that
into this.
because the West Coast is still...
the best coast.
Is it, though?
I think so. Unfortunately.
I don't know. We're still subscribing to the whole muzzle concept. So Genesis is hitting the tour in 2021. I did not know this. I did not think that this would happen with Phil Collins. I thought if they did it, Phil Collins would be doing his own thing. You saw him at the forum.
He did 2 tours, the Not Dead Yet, 2 tours of that.
And now he's going to go jump on tour with Genesis. It's going to be Mike Rutherford, Tony Banks, and then the bassist is going to be Daryl Strumer, who was not part of the original lineup, and the drummer is going to be Nick Collins
his
because
son.
Phil can't
drum. He can't drum.
He can't drum.
Not with his back condition. So he has to sit the whole time. And let me tell you something, folks. I saw this dude.
You're in for a great show because he's going to be sitting down, belting out the Genesis
He
favorites.
sounds amazing. It's almost like he can focus more on singing. I had a buddy who's seen him 3 or 4 times, and he said, this is the best he's ever sounded.
So you're saying that the drums were distracting him from his jobs of singing in the past?
Yes, I guess so. And the thing is, his kid, Nick, is unbelievable. I think he was 18 or 19 when I saw him 2 years ago, the first leg of the Not Dead Yet tour, which came through Los Angeles. Where was I at? The Forum.
East
at the
Coast
Forum.
heavy.
And
this is all East Coast.
It was their last show in the U.S. before they went over to the U.K. and did shows. And it was just such a great night. This kid is really, really good.
I was trying to
really
see the dates that might, appeal to you, being the big Phil Collins fan that you are. I mean, this is
if money was not an object, I would buy plane tickets. I'd get a hotel. I'd go spend 4 or 5 days in one of these cities, and I'd go see this show at least one night, maybe 2, probably just one. Do like a 3 or 4 day deal. Maybe Madison Square Garden. I mean, I've never, Boston. I probably would love to go to Boston. I've always wanted to go to Boston. Of the East Coast, I mean, I'd like to see New York one day, but I think I'd rather see Boston.
This actually is going to spark a poll question this morning. The poll question is, have you ever traveled more than 500 miles for just a concert? I say 500 miles because that you start guessing, okay, should I get on a plane? Should I not get on a plane for this one? Or am I going to drive to go to this concert? I once went to San Francisco for a concert, but that's
not 500.
I actually left in the afternoon, went up there, saw the concert. It was on weeknight, and then turned around and came back and after the concert and got in at like 2:00 in the morning. I remember it came straight to the radio station because we had to start prepping for the show. So I just pulled an all-nighter.
Crashed on the couch for an hour.
We did have a couch back in our work area, which is now somebody else's studio. But we had a work area and I slept on the couch for about an hour and a half and then got up and started working. That's the most I have gotten on a plane before, specifically for a concert, but I ended up visiting friends in the place that I went to. So I would not say
is that text message girlfriend?
No. That was,
then you went to a concert.
It was Foo Fighters and Weezer. I was living in Pullman and I flew to Seattle.
Great. Well, that's not even 500 miles.
Yeah, that's not 500 miles. So, and neither is San Francisco. So I can't really qualify myself.
I've never done it for a concert.
Answer this.
I've done it for a football game. I've done it a couple times, and you were with me pretty much every time. When we went down to the Rose Bowl or the Sun Bowl in El Paso, and we came from Washington State.
God, the Sun Bowl's a terrible bowl game.
That was a lot of fun, though.
It was a fun trip, but
remember that bar we went to that was the size of a Costco that had like 10 bars inside of it, and then a big stage and a semi truck as a DJ booth. Like it was the most weird place I've never seen anything like. It
was like the Graduate. I remember when I first moved here, the Graduate like blew me away
on steroids.
But this place was like the Graduate on steroids. It was nuts. It was like
bigger.
It was like an abandoned
Costco.
It was an abandoned Costco.
No, somebody told me that it was a Costco. Yeah. I don't know who thought to buy the Costco building and put 10 bars in it.
It was the biggest nightclub I've ever been.
And I don't remember a whole lot from that trip.
I'm sure it's still not around. Like I'm sure especially the last year has just devastated whatever that nightclub was in El Paso that we ended up at. But have you
never a concert? No, I'd have to say no to that.
Specifically only for a concert, and we're making the number 500 miles because, and I don't know, technically San Diego might be 500 miles away. Yeah. And we want to make it outside of day driving distance.
805-543-3693 if you want to chat about it. Those are the 805 beer lines. You can text there as well. And you can jump online to the SurfNet Communications poll question right now, KZOZ.com.
Subscribe to the Jeff and Jeremy podcast now on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, and YouTube. It's your Central Coast commute-friendly podcast.